Welcome back to the Pro Brick exclusive YouTube channel. The part that upsets me about Samuel and Saul was a goat farmer. It never started well it never went well from the start, right from the outset. How could a goat farmer be placed in the position just like that as the king of a nation? It never worked from the start. Right from the outset, it all went wrong. The whole lot of it went wrong, right from the outset. There was confusion, the arrangements went wrong. I'm sure it was Samuel who anointed David later on, anointed him privately, but didn't have the courage to anoint him publicly because he was scared of Saul. Saul went out of his mind and became demonized. It was just so out of order. And I don't care what anybody said. It was all because of the prophet Samuel, who wasn't raised correctly. He was raised by a corrupt priest by the name of Eli, who pedestalized his children only for them to be executed. And that's what happens when you do that to your children. It all seems good at the time and grandiose, and they'll lap it up, but the consequences of it are unforgivable and, for the most part, irreversible. How dare you put your child as an authority in a parental role who can't even manage himself, can't even look after himself correctly? How dare you? How dare God put a prophet and a king to manage a kingdom that just weren't right? The chaos and the calamity of it all was unbelievable, and it couldn't be undone. This stuff, once it gains momentum, flows on through generations. Titles mean nothing with this stuff. Grandizement means nothing with this stuff. This stuff's real. I challenge you right now to look around you right now, see where your decisions have got you, your lackadaisical decisions. See where the advice that you're listening to has got you. See who you've put in your life as your authority and where that's got you. And if it's out of order, I guarantee you're not where you're supposed to be, and you've only got yourself to blame. Denialist is someone who doesn't take accountability or responsibility for their own actions. They weave their way through life blaming everybody else. And Samuel the prophet, who was he accountable to? Why didn't he get in trouble for being late to that meeting with Saul? How come he got off the hook and he was the one out of order? And thousands of people paid as the roll-on effect of that one meeting in which Samuel the prophet was late. And this is what's happening with this generation. Nobody's accountable for anything. You can think whatever you like. You can be whatever you like. And if there's no parent giving the right guidance and discipline to this generation, then where do you think it's all going to end up? Any different to Saul, who lost his children, and Eli, who lost their children through bad parenting? Because at the end of the day, you've got to be accountable to someone, and if it ain't yourself, it better be the right person, or people are going to get hurt. Too many families today are accountable to no one, and their rules are just unacceptable. They put people outside their families under standards that they don't even live by them friggin' stupid selves. And like Eli's sons, all they do is leave behind them a string of mess and chaos and go to the grave early. And the parent, in their ignorance, goes, how did that happen? Yet they caused it by handing the authority they were supposed to have over to children that didn't have the life experience to know what they were doing. And history's taught us for millenniums that these people are going to get hurt. We live in a world of denial today. People don't want to be accountable or responsible. They say they do, but they don't. It's not until they find themselves in a situation where they have to be, for the most part, before they are. If people can get away without being accountable or responsible, they will. It's as simple as that. They will. Then, when it all comes down to it and they're trying to make everybody else accountable and responsible, everything caves in because they haven't lived that life themselves. You can't put people into, well, you can if you want to, but you'll live with the consequences, making decisions for adults that can't even make right decisions for themselves. It's irresponsibility. It's negligence void of duty of care. Cost Samuel and the nation of Israel more than you could imagine, the prophet Samuel. It's all there in the book. Who's your prophet? Who's leading you? And where has it got you? Where has your thinking and your behaviour got you in life and in your intimate relationship? Are you just handing yourself over to somebody that wouldn't know where they're going themselves, let alone come into your life and think they're going to offer you something better? Well, let's be honest. If you have a life where your children are dictating the terms, what makes you think you're going to last with a fully functioning adult? You're not. You're going to make yourself look like an idiot, and you'll be exposed, and so will your children. And the truth of the fact of the matter is, there's no excuses. What's all this mean? Get shit in order. Oh dear, no, you can't say that. Well, we're going to have to. You're going to have to get to the point where you've examined yourself well enough for long enough to start to get stuff where it needs to be. Otherwise, you're just out and out going to be left behind. And if you choose to be left behind, you live with it. Don't complain to anybody else. And when your children resent you and have bitterness towards you because they've been misled, they'll know that you've been negligent. It all comes back on the parent, just like it all come back on God. You want to complain about God? Well, guess what? You're going to find yourself in the same position, because it all comes back to you as an individual and how you navigate your life and affect the people around you. It's not a joke, it's real. You better be very, very careful who you're following and what you're committing yourself to, because lust deceives. Lust deceives, control deceives, manipulation conceives, and most of all, grandizement deceives. Well, my first wife's just turned up. I better see what's going on. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, out.